Hi guys, welcome to a brand new episode of AB in the Films. You know, I've been doing this show for 9 seasons, and I don't think I've ever talked about the Harry Potter movies yet.
Did you ever make anything happen? Anything you couldn't explain? You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
Harry! Mr. Potter will always be around to save the day.
He was their friend!
People die in this tournament.
Let's finish this the way we started.
Together!
I remember being in the first grade. This was in 1999, 2000, yeah. I remember being in the first and second grade, and every kid was reading a Harry Potter book. I saw Harry Potter everywhere, all throughout school. Someone had a Harry Potter book on them. Okay, I just remember that constantly. And I heard that they were going to start making movies based off Harry Potter. And the first one, The Sorcerer's Stone, that was the first one. That was November 2001. I was 8. And I did not know what this movie was going to be about. I just knew it was about a boy who was a wizard. That's it. And I was never really into fantasy stuff. I wasn't really into that. You know, it depends on what it was. So the first film comes out, The Sorcerer's Stone, and I went to go see that in the theaters with my dad and my sister, I believe. And we went to go see it, and I loved it. I loved Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Throw in the dungeon! Understand this, Harry, because it's very important. Not all wizards are good.
I think it is clear that we can expect great things from you.
First film comes out, really like it. I really like, they're basically introducing the wizarding world to the audience, and I think it's done in a really well done way. It brings back a lot of memories to when I was a kid, when I watch it now, because the first one came out when I was 8, and so first one I really enjoy. Didn't quite understand much of it at the time, because again, I hadn't read the books. 1 year later, The Chamber of Secrets comes out, and I went to go see that.
Hogwarts is no longer safe. The Chamber of Secrets has been opened.
Let's match the power of Slytherin against the famous Harry Potter.
I actually liked that one a lot more than the first one, but when you think about it, it's really kind of the same movie. I mean, the first one and the second one feel like the same movie, but with substitutions. You know what I mean? Kind of like Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 feel like the same movie, but with substitutions. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny I make that reference because the same director directed all of those movies, Chris Columbus. So it's kind of intriguing when you think of it that way. But I really, really liked The Chamber of Secrets. And what I noticed in the first two at the time was that these movies kind of feel like mystery movies. You know, Harry, Ron, and Hermione have to get together and they're trying to figure out what's going on. Why is this happening, and what's this about, and how does this happen, and all. And at first, when this was going on in The Sorcerer's Stone, when they're trying to find out who Nicholas Flamel is and all that, you know, it almost kind of... I remember thinking at the time, are they setting this up for exposition because it's the Wizarding World? Yes, they are in a way, but a lot of this stuff is going to come back later in future films. But I didn't know that going in because, again, I hadn't read the books. So the second one comes out, and I love the second. I still love Chamber of Secrets. I love all the Harry Potter movies, but Chamber of Secrets, I thought, was really well done. What I really liked about it was the scene with the basilisk. I mean, that was just incredible. The third one came out, Prisoner of Azkaban, and I did not see that. I did not go to the movies to see that. I ended up getting that on DVD, I think like a year after it came out, and I thought it was just, it wasn't the same. Like, a different director, I think it was Alfonso Cuarón, had directed Prisoner of Azkaban, and you know, it's funny. If you watch the first two Harry Potter movies, and then you watch the third one, yeah, 1 and 2 do have dark moments in it. The third one was just, not only does the third one have dark moments in it, but just the way the film looks. It looks like it was shot darker. Like when I think of the first two, especially Sorcerer's Stone, I think of these bright lights and this bright atmosphere, you know what I mean? But by the time you get to Prisoner of Azkaban in the third one, like, all of the colors are tinted, it looks darker, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's an interesting way, like, when it comes to the cinematography, it's interesting to look at it that way, to see how far these films have come, even though it's only been 4 years here. So, Prisoner of Azkaban came out, and I remember watching it, and I didn't like Prisoner of Azkaban as a kid. I like it a lot now, but the third one I was kind of confused about, because I remember thinking in the back of my head, where's Voldemort? Because in the first... Now, again, I'm going to keep saying this over and over. Haven't read the books. Did not know what this was all about. So, the first one, Voldemort shows up. They kill him. And then Dumbledore says to Harry, I'm afraid there are many ways in which he can return. And in Chamber of Secrets, he comes back again, but as his younger self, as Tom Riddle. And they destroy him. Third one comes along. They don't really go after Voldemort. He's not really there, really. I mean, it's, Peter Pettigrew is there, and we start learning about Professor Lupin and his dark secret, and all this stuff. So, okay, all right, I didn't like it as a kid, but after all the movies have come out, I really like it. So, fourth one comes out, Goblet of Fire, did not bother to go see it, didn't care. And it's funny, originally, before the first movie came out, for a while, it was only 4. It was only 4 books. Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, and Goblet of Fire. And then around, I think, like in 2003, 2004, I think it was around that time, that's when The Order of the Phoenix came out, the 5th book. And then there was a 6th book, Half-Blood Prince, and then The Deathly Hallows, the 7th book. And I didn't know that J.K. Rowling was writing new books. I only thought it was just 4 books. So when the movie Goblet of Fire comes out in November of 2005, by this point, what's the 5th one? Order of the Phoenix, the book, has already been out. So I know there's going to be a 5th Harry Potter movie. But by the time Prisoner of Azkaban had come out, which is the 3rd one, I wasn't really into seeing Harry Potter anymore. I wasn't. I saw Prisoner of Azkaban on DVD, and I'm like, I'm not going to go to the movies to see that. I don't want to see this. So then the 4th one comes out, didn't see it. 5th one comes out, didn't see it. And in 2008... my uncle, who read all of the Harry Potter books and did read Deathly Hallows, got sick. And he sadly passed away. And the last thing I said to him, when he was in the hospital, I was on the phone with him, and the last thing I said to him was, hey, when the new Harry Potter movie comes out, you wanna go see it with me? And he said, yeah, sure, absolutely. I said, okay, that's sweet, that's cool. But we both know, we both knew the truth. I was just trying to keep him in high spirits. And so he passed away, and then in the summer of 2009, Half-Blood Prince comes out. And I remember thinking to myself, you know what? I'm going to keep my promise. I'm gonna go see it. Let me go see Half-Blood Prince. Let me go see it. And I went to go see it, and I was so lost. Because again, I had not seen Goblet of Fire. I had not seen Order of the Phoenix. So I saw Half-Blood Prince, and I'm starting to hear this term Horcruxes, and I'm starting to see what's going on here. And I did not know this because, again, I didn't read the books. I'm gonna keep repeating that. Sorry. I did not know that at the time, from the moment the Sorcerer's Stone came out, that this has been building up the whole time. I did not know that. So when I went, so after Half-Blood Prince is done, I go back and I rent Goblet of Fire. And that is when Voldemort finally comes out as Ralph Fiennes, basically. Ralph Fiennes is playing Voldemort. And I started to see what they were doing and what was going on. So then I went back to the first film and watched the first film, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and when I got to the sixth one, I watched it again when it came on DVD. And I said, this is unbelievable. This is going to be huge. And then the Deathly Hallows came out, part 1 and part 2. And part 1 came out, and I gotta tell you, I was back in the theaters again. But here's what's amazing. I was so in love with Harry Potter when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, when the first two came out. And then by the time the third one came out, I had kind of grown out of it. But here I am again as a 16, 17-year-old teenager, and I'm getting into it again. Because I didn't realize that in the Sorcerer's Stone, this is supposed to mean something down the line. This is supposed to mean something here. And I never thought of it that way. And so once I pieced all that together and I saw Deathly Hallows Part 1, I remember thinking, oh, this is really good. They've been planning this the whole time. J.K. Rowling planned this, but in the film versions, this is good. This is really good. And I really admired it for that. And not just the cool world and how they have different meanings and different spells for different things. There's different animals. The history of Hogwarts and all that. And different characters have different story arcs. And there's a lot of characters that are in the books that aren't even in the movies. You know what I mean? So that's another interesting thing in and of itself. But when Deathly Hallows Part 1 ended, I remember thinking, oh, come on! Like, Voldemort, he puts the Elder Wand up to the sky and it says the end, like, to be continued. And I'm like, come on, we gotta wait 8 more months for Part 2. So Part 2 comes out, and I go see that, and guys, I was blown away, because I kind of knew what the ending was going to be, but like I knew what was going to happen. I didn't know exactly how it was going to happen, but didn't read the books, but when we get to that scene when Harry is looking at Snape's tears, and when that was, and you see all the scenes with him and Snape from over all 8 films, it was like, that blew me away. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, that is some great storytelling right there, man. And you start seeing all these films and all the scenes that they've had in a whole new way. And there's a reason Harry can look into Voldemort's, his perception. There's a reason Harry can talk to snakes. And it's, gosh, I'm so jealous of this. It's just so freaking good. So good. And all 8 of these, I mean, I had a marathon about a month ago. I watched all 8. I have all 8 of them. I have the first one on video cassette and the last 7 on DVD. And I fell in love with it all over again. And as soon as it was over, and it's 19 years later, and Platform 9 3/4, and they all have kids, and you hear the John Williams music that we all know. Like, I had a big smile on my face in the theater, a big smile on my face, because again, and it was a little upsetting that these movies were over, because I was 8 when the first one came out, and I was 18 when the last one came out. Like, that's 10 years, so I was really it was kind of sad that this was ending, even though I grew out of it in the middle. I was really interested in it when it first came out, and then I was really invested in it again when it was ending. So, it was like a roller coaster ride almost. But the Harry Potter movies, definitely recommend those, and I'm pretty sure all of you guys have seen them. And if you haven't seen them, listen, my parents, I tried getting my mom to watch these movies with me, and she had hundreds of questions from the moment the movie started. The minute Sorcerer's Stone opens up and Hagrid comes down down on the motorcycle and it's flying, that was my mom's first question. Why is his motorcycle flying? And I'm like, Mom, they're witches and wizards. That's your first question. If that's your first question, the first 30 seconds of a 2.5-hour film, by the way, the shortest one I think is Deathly Hallows Part 2, and that's 2 hours and 10 minutes. If that's your first question, you're gonna have a hard time getting through 30 minutes of the first film, and we got 7 more to go after this. But eventually we did get through all 8 movies, and she thought it was okay. It wasn't her kind of thing, but she thought it was okay. And I tried to get my dad into these movies. He can't get into it. He just can't get into it. It's not for him, It's just, like I said, it's not going to be for everybody. But the main reason I went to go see Harry Potter was because I was a kid. These were targeted towards children, essentially. And I was a kid. I was 8 years old at the time. I mean, they were a little older than me. They were like 11 or 12 when they first started filming them. But I was a kid, and I was interested in any movie that came out that was aimed towards children, and Harry Potter was one of them. So at the time, I was really into it, and the way the storytelling is, the way the characters go off each other in this, really phenomenal, well done. I mean, I think this is a phenomenon. I mean, it's built up like a lot of. I mean, like, I understand it got kids reading again. I mean, like, everybody that reads a Harry Potter book say everybody that reads the books usually say the books are better than the movie. And yeah, I agree. I would probably agree with that. I still to this day haven't. I'm gonna stop saying that. But as far as the Harry Potter movies go, it's one of my favorite film sagas of all time. It really is, and it does what storytelling is supposed to do. It evolves the characters, it keeps the story going, it keeps you invested. If I had to pick a movie that was the weakest link in all of the Harry Potter movies, I would probably have to go with Goblet of Fire, with the exception of the last third. The last third is where it picks up and it gets really, really good. But in my opinion, I think Goblet of Fire was like the weakest one, I think, out of all of them, if I had to pick. Now, 15, 16 years ago, I would have said Prisoner of Azkaban, because I was not a fan of that one at the time when it came out. But I like that one a lot more now. And I think there were 4, Chris Columbus, Alfonso Cuarón, Mark, who did the 4th one? I can't remember who did the 4th one. I know David Yates did 5 through 8. And he did a darn good job at the last 4. The last 4 Harry Potter. David Yates he understood how to direct Harry Potter. I mean, they were good. So those are my thoughts on the Harry Potter movies. What do you guys think of them? And, yeah. I can't believe I've been doing this show 9 years. I've never talked about the Harry Potter movies. Big part of my childhood, too. So those are my thoughts on the Harry Potter films, and I will see you guys in the next review. Take care.